The fluorescent lights hummed overhead as Marcus Chimrivera pushed his cleaning cart down the empty corridor of Henley Technologies. At 2 in the morning, the building belonged to him and the night security guard who nodded from behind his desk. Marcus had grown accustomed to the solitude, finding peace in the methodical work of mopping floors and emptying trash bins. He paused outside the main production floor, peering through the reinforced glass at the massive manufacturing equipment that had been silent for 3 weeks. The quantum fabricator, they called it. Engineers in expensive suits had been circling it like vultures, shaking their heads and muttering about impossible repairs. Marcus knew better than most what impossible looked like. He had once designed systems that defied gravity itself, back when his name appeared on aerospace patents and his daughter Isabella boasted about her daddy, the rocket scientist. Now she simply told her classmates that daddy worked at night to keep buildings clean. The machine beckoned to him through the glass, its sleek chrome surface reflecting the emergency lighting. Even from here, he could see the problem the engineers had missed. The elevator chimed unexpectedly at 2:30, breaking Marcus from his thoughts. Victoria Henley emerged, her usually pristine business attire wrinkled from another sleepless night. The CEO of Henley Technologies looked exhausted, her shoulders carrying the weight of a company teetering on the edge of collapse. She noticed Marcus through the glass and entered the production floor, her heels clicking against the polished concrete. Behind her followed Brock Thaddeus, the head of maintenance, his permanent scowl deepening at the sight of the janitor. "Just a cleaner," Brock muttered, gesturing dismissively at Marcus. What would he know about precision engineering? Victoria stared at the silent machine, frustration evident in every line of her face. $3 million of equipment, useless as a paperweight. She turned to Marcus with a bitter laugh. "You know what? If someone could actually fix this thing, I'd marry them on the spot." Brock chuckled at what he assumed was a joke. "Maybe the janitor should give it a try," he said with mock encouragement. "I'm sure he's an expert." Marcus continued polishing the machine's exterior panels, his movements steady and methodical. But his eyes were studying every bolt, every circuit housing, every subtle misalignment that the engineers had overlooked for weeks. Victoria's voice carried a desperate edge as she explained the machine's importance to Brock. "Without the quantum fabricator running, we lose the Peterson contract. That's 60% of our revenue gone and 200 jobs with it." Marcus absorbed every technical detail while methodically cleaning around control panels. The machine wasn't just broken, it had been assembled incorrectly from the start. The quantum resonance chamber was misaligned by exactly 4 degrees, causing harmonic interference in the fabrication matrix. A mistake so fundamental that the original engineers had built their entire diagnostic approach on a flawed assumption. Brock shrugged with practiced indifference. "The specialists from Germany are coming next week. Maybe they'll have better luck than our team." As Victoria and Brock departed, their conversation echoed down the hallway. Marcus heard fragments about insurance claims and potential bankruptcy. He thought of Isabella sleeping peacefully in their small apartment, trusting that Daddy would always find a way to provide. The night security guard, Nikolai Petrov, appeared at the production floor entrance. "Tough situation," he observed quietly. "A lot of good people depending on this place." Marcus nodded, his gaze never leaving the machine. The quantum matrices hummed with subtle energy, waiting for someone who understood their true nature. Dawn filtered through the apartment windows as Marcus arrived home, finding Isabella already awake and sketching at the kitchen table. Her drawing showed a rocket ship soaring past colorful planets, each one labeled with careful 80-year-old handwriting. "Daddy, do you miss building spaceships?" she asked without looking up from her artwork. Marcus sat beside her, studying the intricate details she had remembered from his old engineering sketches. "Sometimes, sweetheart, but taking care of you is more important than any rocket." Isabella's crayon paused mid-stroke. "Mama used to say you could fix anything in the whole universe." She looked up with serious brown eyes. "Maybe you still can." The memory struck him like a physical blow. Elena's voice, proud and confident as she bragged about her brilliant husband to their friends. Before the diagnosis, before the medical bills consumed their savings, before aerospace contracts became impossible to secure while caring for a dying wife and grieving child. You know what I think? Isabella continued, adding silver stars to her rocket's trail. I think broken things are just waiting for the right person to understand them. Marcus pulled her close, breathing in the scent of her strawberry shampoo. His daughter's innocent wisdom cut straight to the heart of everything he had been avoiding. The following evening brought another parade of frustrated engineers. Marcus watched through the production floor windows as 3 specialists from the original manufacturing company dismantled sections of the quantum fabricator, their movements growing increasingly frantic with each failed diagnostic test. Dr. Ashworth, the lead engineer, threw his tablet down in defeat. The quantum resonance is completely unstable. We might need to scrap the entire unit and start over. Brock seized the opportunity to demonstrate his authority, pointing directly at Marcus through the glass. Maybe we should ask our resident genius what he thinks. I'm sure a man who empties trash cans has insights we missed. The engineers barely acknowledged Marcus's presence as he entered to clean around their workspace. They discussed replacing the primary resonance chamber, completely unaware that the issue lay in the harmonic calibration matrix 3 levels deeper in the system. Marcus methodically wiped down each surface they had abandoned, his trained eye cataloging every component they had examined incorrectly. The quantum field generators were perfectly functional. They simply needed recalibration to account for the gravitational variance in this specific geographic location. Brock's laughter echoed across the floor. Look at him studying our work like he understands quantum mechanics. Next, he'll be offering to redesign our entire operation. Marcus stared at his reflection in the bathroom mirror, Isabella's words echoing in his mind. The weight of hidden knowledge pressed against his chest like a physical burden. Every night, he watched brilliant engineers struggle with problems he could solve in minutes. Yet revealing his expertise meant risking everything. What if they discovered his past? What if questions arose about his current employment, his desperate need for steady income, his lack of recent credentials? The janitorial job provided health insurance for Isabella, stable hours that let him be present for school events, anonymity that protected them both from judgment. Isabella appeared in the doorway, clutching her stuffed rocket ship. She had named it Apollo after the moon missions he used to tell her about. "Daddy, you look sad." He knelt to her level, smoothing her dark hair. "Sometimes grown-ups have to make difficult choices, sweetheart. But you always taught me that helping people is never wrong," she said with the clarity that only children possess. "Remember when you fixed Mrs. Garcia's car?" She cried because she could finally get to work again. Marcus remembered Elena saying similar words during his aerospace days. She believed his gift for understanding complex systems was meant to serve others, not hide in shadows. Isabella held that same unshakable faith in his abilities. The next morning brought devastating news. Victoria called an emergency meeting in the main conference room, visible through the glass walls to anyone passing by. Marcus arrived early for his shift and witnessed the grim faces of employees learning their fate. "The Peterson contract is officially terminated," Victoria announced, her voice carrying across the building. "Without the quantum fabricator operational, we cannot meet production deadlines. I'm required to notify everyone that layoffs will begin next Friday." Marcus watched familiar faces crumble. Sarah from accounting wiped away tears, thinking of her disabled son's medical bills. Miguel from shipping stared at the table, calculating mortgage payments. These weren't just colleagues. They were neighbors, friends, people who had welcomed a quiet janitor with unexpected kindness. Brock chose that moment to assert his authority, spotting Marcus near the conference room. "Hey everyone," he called out loudly enough for the entire meeting to hear. "Maybe our maintenance expert has some revolutionary ideas." He gestured mockingly at Marcus. "Come on, share your brilliant insights with the real engineers." The room fell silent. Dozens of eyes turned toward Marcus, some curious, others embarrassed by Brock's cruelty. Victoria looked uncomfortable but said nothing, trapped between desperate hope and professional decorum. Marcus felt the familiar sting of humiliation, but underneath it burned something stronger, the memory of Isabella's unwavering faith. That night, Marcus lingered in the production floor longer than usual. The building felt different somehow, heavy with the weight of impending closure. He thought about Sarah's tears, Miguel's silence, the dozens of families who would soon face the same financial devastation he had endured years ago. Isabella's drawing was tucked in his shirt pocket, the rocket ship soaring past impossible obstacles. She had written a message on the back in her careful cursive. Daddy can fix anything because he sees what others miss. Marcus approached the quantum fabricator with new purpose. The machine towered before him, its sleek surface reflecting his janitor's uniform. But tonight, he wasn't seeing a cleaner in those reflections. He was seeing the aerospace engineer who had once designed systems that defied the laws of physics, who had solved problems that stumped entire teams of brilliant minds. The diagnostic panel glowed as he powered up the system, running through the same tests that had confounded specialists for weeks. His fingers moved across the interface with practiced familiarity, accessing subsystems that the other engineers had never thought to examine. There, buried 17 levels deep in the quantum resonance matrix, the source of the harmonic instability. A miscalibration so subtle that conventional diagnostics couldn't detect it, but obvious to someone who understood the fundamental principles of quantum field manipulation. Marcus pulled out his maintenance tools and began to work. Marcus worked with the precision of a surgeon and the instincts of an artist. His hands moved through the quantum field generators, recalibrating harmonic frequencies that had been misaligned since installation. Each adjustment required calculations that most engineers would need computers to perform, but the numbers flowed through his mind like music. The quantum resonance chamber required the most delicate touch. He disassembled the primary matrix housing, revealing crystalline components that pulsed with barely contained energy. These weren't just machine parts. They were manifestations of theoretical physics made tangible, systems that existed at the boundary between science and magic. Nikolai appeared in the doorway around midnight, drawn by the unusual activity. He watched in silent amazement as Marcus performed modifications that seemed impossible, his movements confident and purposeful. The security guard had seen many late-night repair attempts, but nothing like this elegant dance between man and machine. The fabrication chamber hummed to life for the first time in weeks, its quantum fields stabilizing into perfect harmony. Marcus ran diagnostic after diagnostic, each test confirming what his instincts had known from the beginning. The machine wasn't just repaired, it was optimized beyond its original specifications. But his work was far from over. The real innovation lay in the enhancements he was implementing, improvements that would revolutionize the entire manufacturing process. The soft chime of the elevator announced early arrivals. Dr. Ashworth stepped onto the production floor at 5 in the morning, expecting to find the same broken machine that had defeated his team. Instead, he discovered the quantum fabricator running smoothly, its displays showing performance metrics that exceeded theoretical maximums. Marcus continued his final calibrations, aware of the engineer's presence, but focused on perfecting the harmonic resonance patterns. The improvements he had implemented would increase production efficiency by 40% while reducing energy consumption by half. More engineers arrived, drawn by Dr. Ashworth's urgent messages. They gathered around the control panels in stunned silence, watching readouts that defied everything they thought they knew about quantum fabrication technology. Brock burst through the doors, his face red with indignation. What the hell is going on here? He spotted Marcus adjusting the final parameters and exploded with rage. Get away from that machine right now. You have no authorization to. The fabricator completed its first test cycle, producing a component of such precision that the quality sensors registered readings beyond their calibrated range. The part gleamed under the production floor lights, molecularly perfect and structurally flawless. Dr. Ashworth picked up the component with trembling hands. This is impossible. These tolerances shouldn't be achievable with current technology. He looked at Marcus with dawning comprehension. "Who are you?" Victoria arrived to find her production floor transformed into something resembling a miracle. The quantum fabricator operated with mechanical poetry, its quantum fields dancing in perfect synchronization. Engineers stood transfixed by displays showing efficiency ratings that shattered every previous benchmark. Marcus straightened from the control panel, his janitor's uniform incongruous against the backdrop of technological triumph. The machine hummed with contentment, producing components at triple the expected rate while consuming 60% less energy than original specifications. Dr. Ashworth approached Victoria with reverent confusion. "The modifications are extraordinary. Whoever did this understands quantum mechanics at a level that surpasses our entire engineering team." He gestured toward Marcus. "This man has revolutionized our entire manufacturing process." Brock sputtered in disbelief. "He's a janitor. He cleans toilets and empties trash cans." Marcus finally spoke, his voice calm but carrying unmistakable authority. "I designed quantum propulsion systems for the Artemis program. My patents include the harmonic stabilization matrix that makes your fabricator possible. I hold doctoral degrees in aerospace engineering and theoretical physics from MIT." The production floor fell silent except for the gentle hum of perfectly calibrated machinery. Victoria stared at the man she had passed countless times in hallways, seeing him clearly for the first time. "You fixed it," she whispered, remembering her desperate joke from days ago. Victoria extended her hand to Marcus, a gesture that transcended their previous employer-employee relationship. "I believe I made you a promise about marriage," she said with a smile that mixed embarrassment with profound respect. "How about I honor that with something more practical? Our new director of advanced engineering position." The Peterson contract was not only saved, but expanded when news of the revolutionary improvements reached their clients. Production efficiency soared beyond every projection, and Henley Technologies transformed from a struggling manufacturer into an industry innovator practically overnight. Marcus accepted the position with quiet dignity, the same grace he had maintained while enduring months of dismissive treatment. His first act was implementing profit-sharing programs that ensured every employee benefited from the company's newfound success. Brock approached him weeks later, humbled by witnessing true expertise in action. "I owe you an apology," he admitted. "I judged you by your uniform instead of your character." Isabella visited the production floor on Bring Your Chill to Work Day, her eyes bright with pride as she watched her father explain quantum mechanics to fascinated engineers. She had always known Daddy could fix anything. The quantum fabricator continued its perfect operation, a testament to the extraordinary talents that can hide behind the most ordinary appearances. If this story touched your heart, please drop a comment and share if you've ever witnessed someone's hidden talent shine when given the chance.